Namaste, guys. Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consulting, giving you a big and beautiful shout out on this Friday afternoon, 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time here in Denver, Colorado. We're doing our daily dose of divine light, love, and power with a focus on light. Remind me to stop having lunch right in the middle of my live streams because I had to rush to have lunch and I'm still not done with lunch. But keeping my commitment to you guys of doing these streams at the same time every single day, rain, sleet, or shine, at least for the next 2 weeks. I want to cover something that's kind of interesting. In fact, it's actually quite fascinating, but I have a feeling it's going to get certain people worked up. Okay? So, in the world of spirituality, in the world of metaphysics, which means beyond the physical, there's something called an egregor. An egregor is a collective thought form that influences the perceptions. Elizabeth, Namaste, that influences, Adriana, Namaste, that influences the perception of the individual. So what do I mean by that? Have you noticed that when you travel, whether it's going from one town to another town, one little city to a major city, one state to another state, one province to another province, Jessica, Namaste, one country to another country, one time zone to another time zone, have you noticed you have different thoughts, different speech, and different feelings in the new place that you're going to? Why? Because you're bathing your energy body in different energies. So I have people that are very strict with their spiritual practice at home, and then when they go on vacation or they leave their house where they do their spiritual practice, they entirely forget about their spiritual practice. Why? Because they're A, out of routine, B, they're now swimming in another thought form. Samantha, Namaste, another collective thought form. Now, what kinds of collective thought forms are there? You name it. You name it. Collective thought forms is basically a thought that is permeating a certain area that influences every person that is in the vicinity of that. So for instance, when you go to the hospital, there's certain thoughts, feelings, and energies at the hospital that aren't anywhere else. When you go to the rough, Namaste, when you go to the rough side of town, there's thoughts, there's feelings, and there's energies that are nowhere else other than in that part of town, right? So every race has their own collective thought form. Every geography has its own collective thought form. Every sex, so men and women, have their own collective thought forms. Spiritual practitioners have their own collective thought forms. Non-spiritual practitioners have their own collective thought forms. The military has its own collective thought forms, right? CrossFit has its own collective thought forms. Is this making sense? So every sect that you can make up in your mind has collective thought forms. So far, so good? So, how does this connect to the light aspect within each and every one of us? The way you penetrate and break free of the collective thought form is through an illumined mind, which is an entirely different practice that was taught by actually Alice Bailey about 100 years ago through Alice Bailey from Holy Master DK. So when you have an illumined mind, you're able to penetrate a subject matter very, very deeply and push away the collective thought forms and programs of that particular race, geography, Stephen, Namaste, you name it. Does it make sense? So, for instance, do you have friends that when you hang around them, you tend to swear more, you tend to drink more, you tend to do activities that are maybe of a lower vibrational energy than normally? So you're in a collective thought form with these people, right? You become who you associate with. Versus there's other people in your life, when you spend time with them, you happen to be more spiritual. You happen to focus on aspects of the soul. You happen to have a higher level of fulfillment and inner peace. Yes? So that's the thought form that you're tapping into. And Grandmaster Choa Koksui says, you become who and what you meditate on. So Adriana says you have to have awareness. Yeah. You have to have awareness. So one example that was given by one of the masters in pranic healing, Vivi, is that you? Is that Grandmaster Choa Koksui came to this disciple's house and was sitting in a certain room of the house, and the teacher was going, Michelle, Namaste, was saying, He asked the question, does somebody worry in this room a lot? And the master was saying, no, I don't worry in this room. He goes, but my wife does. He goes, okay. So Master Choa had the awareness that the worry that he typically doesn't do was not his worry, but the worry of what is going on in the environment with a particular person in the household. So that's the same thing in anywhere that we go. If you go to Wall Street, you're going to have thoughts, speech, and energies. You're going to expose yourself to thought, speech, and energies that you wouldn't experience in other parts of the world, right? That's why a lot of the great spiritual teachers tend to, not always, tend to live high up and elevated up. Why? Because as you go higher and higher in the atmosphere, there's less contaminated psychic energy. There's less thought forms, less emotional energy. The energy is cleaner, more subtle, more refined. And then these great teachers do what? Access these higher energies and then pour it into the village below. Fascinating, right? So, simply put, whenever we are criticizing or judging other people based on sex, race, religion, political affiliation, geography, education, income, whatever it is, we are seeing that person from a lower level of truth. We're not seeing that person as a being of light, a being of love, and a being of power. And that causes a lot of suffering because spirituality unifies, religion divides. My God versus your God. My holy scripture versus my holy book versus your holy book. My spiritual practices versus your spiritual practices. There's division. There's not unity. My internet, no, Jessica, I hope your internet gets better, but don't worry, we'll be broadcasting this live. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense. I hope that adds value to you guys about the light aspect within each and every one of us, is go higher. View things from a higher perspective. See the unity and oneness, not the separation, the division, and the delusion. Develop an illumined mind. Okay? And for those of you looking for help in developing illumined mind, you can reach out to me directly on my website, ChristianRLong.com. Yeah, ChristianRLong.com. Click on consultation, and I get the notification on my phone and in my calendar. You get the notification on your phone and your calendar, and we team up on FaceTime or Skype or Zoom or wherever, and we can help transform your life. I look forward to connecting with you very, very soon. This is Christian Long, Life Enhancement Consultant, wishing you a beautiful day, a beautiful week, and a beautiful life. And I will catch you tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time for another daily dose of light, love, and power. Atma, Namaste. Bye-bye.